Hello everyone. This week, global attention once again turns to the United Nations General Assembly. However, this year's assembly is marked by a unique presence. U.S. President Donald Trump delivering his first address of his second term. His stance, particularly on the Gaza conflict and the prospect of Palestinian statehood, has left him both isolated and defiant. As nations worldwide, including key U.S. allies, call for peace and a two-state solution, the Trump administration appears to be moving against the tide. What does this signify? Is the traditional U.S. position in the Middle East being upended? In today's program, we will delve into Trump's performance at the UN General Assembly and the profound implications for the global political landscape. As the Gaza conflict approaches its two-year mark, international condemnation of Israel's actions in the enclave has intensified. Yet, the Trump administration has consistently stood by Israel, providing not only continuous political cover but also military support. This unwavering allegiance has increasingly isolated the U.S. on the international stage. A clear illustration of this isolation will be evident on Monday, when France and Saudi Arabia co-host a two-state solution conference, supported by 142 of the 193 UNI member states. The U.S. is notably absent from this conference and was one of only 10 countries to vote against the General Assembly resolution backing this high-level gathering. This isolation is not accidental. French President Emmanuel Macron is expected to announce France's recognition of a Palestinian state during the conference, believing this move will help isolate Hamas. The UK is also set to announce its recognition of a Palestinian state this weekend, with Canada, Australia, and Belgium expected to follow suit during the UN gathering. These actions, from the Trump administration's perspective, are counterproductive to peace efforts. Secretary of State Marco Rubio stated after meetings in Israel that unilateral recognition of a Palestinian state emboldens Hamas and undermines future prospects for peace in the region. The Trump administration's hardline stance on Palestine extends beyond verbal condemnation. They have actively sought to prevent the meaningful participation of the Palestinian Authority in the UN General Assembly. In an unprecedented move, the Trump administration denied visas to POP President Mahmoud Abbas and his delegation to travel to New York for the assembly. Furthermore, they have implemented a new policy to deny most types of visas to Palestinian Authority passport holders. This means there will be no high-level PA delegation present in New York this week for the gathering of world leaders. Although Abbas is expected to address Monday's conference virtually, the inability to engage in in-person conversations carries significant repercussions. Jake Walls, a retired U.S. ambassador who served as the consul general in Jerusalem, remarked, "If you only talk to one side, you're not going to make peace. He's the international face of the Palestinians. He represents the Palestinians abroad. You have to at least have a dialogue with him if you want to get anywhere." I don't see that there's any alternative leadership out there other than Hamas, and certainly we don't want to deal with Hamas. Monday's conference aims to define a roadmap for peace and stability in the region based on a two-state solution. Announcements of contributions towards stabilizing Gaza and financing the Palestinian Authority to prevent financial collapse are also anticipated. However, the Trump administration has not actively pursued a two-state solution, despite it being the stated U.S. policy goal for decades. Two U.S. officials indicated that the Trump administration has not offered any counter-proposals. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has also explicitly stated in recent weeks that there will be no Palestinian state in response to the recognition planned at the UN. It remains unclear whether Israel will take specific actions to respond to Monday's conference, but one Israeli official did not rule out further annexation announcements by their government in the near term. The Trump administration has also grown less optimistic about a diplomatic solution to end the ongoing conflict and has not condemned Netanyahu's new operation to take Gaza City, which has prompted global outcry and anger from many families of Israeli hostages held by Hamas. While Rubio stated that a negotiated settlement remains the administration's preference, he suggested that time might be running out. He notably did not comment on Israel's new ground offensive in Gaza City. He said on Monday, "At some point Israel, it's their war." They're going to get to decide how they want to proceed, because they're the ones that were attacked on October 7th. Just last Thursday, the U.S. cast a veto in the UN Security Council, blocking a resolution that called for an immediate, unconditional, and permanent ceasefire in Gaza respected by all parties and the release of hostages. The U.S. representative claimed the resolution fails to condemn Hamas or recognize Israel's right to defend itself. However, all 14 other members of the powerful body voted in favor. This once again highlights the US's isolated position on this issue. The Trump administration's firm stance on the Gaza conflict and Palestinian statehood at the UN General Assembly has undoubtedly sparked widespread attention and controversy globally. This isolated yet resolute posture not only challenges the mainstream international consensus, but could also profoundly impact the future trajectory of the Middle East. In the pursuit of peace, dialogue and understanding are paramount. Peace requires bold steps, but also mutual compromise. As the world watches the UN unfold, one thing's clear: the path to resolution remains fraught, but perhaps a little less distant. We will continue to monitor future developments. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.